Over the past 4 months, Kirk and I visited 4 continents, 34 countries, and over 60 ports by living on 7 cruise ships. Today I'm going to show you what that cost and how to ship hop in your budget. Brazil, Argentina, Italy, Spain, Morocco, the Caribbean, the US, Canada, all in 4 months. Kirk and I visited 4 continents, 34 countries, and over 60 ports on 7 different cruise ships, and we do this by ship hopping, one cruise ship to the next. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what the cruise cost looks like, but I am not just showing you my costs. I am showing you our exact trip in 4 different price points so that you can see how to ship hop at your budget. Hi, my name is Tori from KirkToriStory. Kirk and I sold our house in Canada back in 2022 and have been living on cruise ships ever since. I'm not here to tell you what cruise lines want you to hear. As I mentioned in a previous video, we pay for everything ourselves. We don't get special deals. In fact, cruise lines don't even know who we are. We're just 2 real people who figured out how to live the lifestyle of ship hopping. And now we want to show you how you can figure it out too. In our last video, the ship hopping video, so many of you asked the same question. But what does it actually cost? So I'm going to show you that today using our exact itinerary that we did in the ship hopping video, which I'm linking here for you. And I'm going to show it to you at every budget. So let's get into it, and I promise there's a number in here for everyone. The framework, why your budget matters more than ours. Before I get into the numbers, here's something really important, and it shapes everything that we're going to talk about today. Kirk and I don't pick one cruise line and just stick to it. We don't always book the same cabin category. We don't always buy the same packages. Every single cruise sailing, we look at what's offered, what's included, what the price is, and we make a fresh decision, case by case, ship by ship. That's actually one of the most powerful things about ship hopping. You get to customize every single leg of your journey based on what makes sense for that trip. A luxury line with everything included on one sailing, a balcony on a budget line on the next, an ocean view somewhere in between. It's why our numbers look all over the place and why it's just so difficult for me to just give you our numbers without explanation. The alternative to ship hopping is that you will end up on the same ship, eating the same food, seeing the same people, following the same routine for months. There are definitely people who love that, and that is totally fine. But for me and Kirk, we love variety. We love exploring different ships, experiencing different energy, having different experiences. So we could experience luxury for a couple of weeks on a wonderful cruise line, and then go for a more budget-friendly experience on the next ship. That flexibility is where this lifestyle really opens up. And just one more thing before I get into these numbers for you. The prices that I am giving you are not bare bones numbers. Kirk and I always factor in the prices of having a few drinks, paying for Wi-Fi, whether it's basic or Starlink, and sometimes other things like gratuities included in the fare, or even shore excursions. In other words, these are more realistic, livable cruise costs. Could you go cheaper? Of course you can. Could you go higher? Oh, absolutely. But what I'm giving you here today is a very solid ballpark number in US dollars on the 7 cruise ships that we were on that I featured in the ship hopping logistics video. So here's the itinerary. As you can see, over 4 months, Kirk and I sailed on 7 different ships. Now, here's something really worth knowing before we get into the pricing. Some of these ships are already in the luxury category. Azamara, for example, the drinks are included, gratuities are included, It's all in the fare. So when you're comparing these cruise prices, the sticker price is just the starting point. A cheaper cruise that charges separately for drinks and gratuities might end up costing just as much or more once you add everything up. That one mindset shift will save you thousands. All right, let's look at the numbers. Here's exactly what this pricing is based on. Azamara Quest in the Caribbean, Barbados, Brazil, Argentina.
One thing about Azamara, you first get on and you're greeted with a glass of champagne.
Hi, welcome on board.
Sapphire Princess, Buenos Aires to Rome, 13-day transatlantic on NCL Luna from Rome to Miami. Queen Elizabeth, 9 days on Regal Princess, the ABC Islands. 8 days on MSC World America in the Western Caribbean. 18 nights on Holland America Zuiderdam, Eastern USA and Canada. 7 ships, 4 months, and yes, a lot of packing and unpacking. All right, let's get into the numbers. Tier 1, the interior cabin or budget voyager. I've done all of the calculations for you before I started recording this video. So if you decide to do this exact 4-month itinerary with the same 7 ships, same 4 months, same everything, with every single one of your legs in an interior cabin, the total cost for 2 people, US dollars, would be $25,470. Take a moment with that. That's roughly $6,370 a month for 2 people, or broken all the way down, $106 US dollars per person per day. $106 a day. Every meal is taken care of. You're entertained every night, and you're waking up in a different destination somewhere across 4 continents almost every single day. Now, what is an interior cabin, honestly? No window, no natural light. It's a cozy room built for sleeping. And here's one thing, for a lot of people, that's completely a valid choice because you're genuinely not in your cabin that much. You're at the pool. You're exploring a port in Brazil or Morocco. You're up on deck watching the ship pull into a new country. The cabin is where you sleep, and that's it. Some people absolutely love interior cabins for they want that connection to the outside world when they wake up in the morning. So that's what Tier 2 is for. Tier 2 is what I call the sweet spot or the Oceanview passenger. Same itinerary, Oceanview cabins. Now you've got a window, natural light. You wake up in the morning and you can immediately see, are we sailing open ocean or are we pulling into port? After a few weeks at sea, that simple thing matters more than you'd expect, and you're living a genuinely comfortable, enjoyable life. Cruise cost for 2 people for 4 months, US dollars, $29,070. That's $121 US dollars per person per day. That jump from an interior to Oceanview is about $3,600 US total across 4 months. Spread that over 120 days, and that's roughly $15 extra per person per day for a window and natural light every morning you wake up. For some people, that's an easy yes. And for others, the $2,500 tier is plenty. This is where people go, okay, this might actually be doable. Only you know which one fits your life, and that's exactly why I'm breaking it down this way. Now, before I give you the balcony and suite numbers, I want to pause here because there are a few things that will shift your cruise budget more than any cabin category decision. First, let's look at what's already included. On a luxury line like Azamara, drinks and gratuities are already in the fare. On a mainstream line, you might add those separately. Always price the total package, not just the cabin. 2 sailings that look very different on paper could end up costing almost the same once you add everything up. Second, timing and booking windows do matter. Consecutive cruise discounts Early booking offers and repositioning sailings can bring your per night cost down significantly. And these are the tools that Kirk and I use every time that we plan a new leg of the journey. Third, your cruise line mix. When you ship hop, you get to match the right cruise line to the right itinerary. We're not loyal to any one cruise line. We're loyal to the best value for each specific sailing. That case-by-case thinking is where the real savings happen. Tier 3, balconies across all 7 ships. Now we're talking your own private outdoor space. Morning coffee with just the ocean in front of you, watching the ship glide into a Brazilian port or along a Spanish coastline from your own little deck. It's a genuinely different experience, and there's a real case to be made for it, especially on longer sailings or on itineraries with spectacular scenery. Cruise cost for 2 people, 4 months US dollars, $37,360. That's $156 US dollars per person per day. The jump from Oceanview to balcony is the single biggest step up in this whole breakdown, about $8,290 US dollars more than the Oceanview tier. On premium and luxury cruise lines especially, balconies carry a meaningful premium. Here's a practical approach if the balcony experience appeals to you, but you want to be thoughtful with your budget. You don't have to be consistent across every sailing. Book a balcony on the longer itineraries, the scenic routes, the sailings with lots of sea days where you'll genuinely use that outdoor space. Book an Oceanview on the shorter, port-heavy legs where you'll barely be in your cabin anyway. That kind of case-by-case thinking is exactly how Kirk and I approach every booking decision, and it's how you get the most experience for every dollar that you spend. Okay, now for the next tier, and this is where emotions could take over logic. Tier number 4, the full suite luxury. Full suites across all 7 ships. The top of the range, US dollars for 2 people for 4 months, it's $63,340. That's $264 US dollars per person per day. And I want to be genuinely transparent here because the word suite means very different things on different cruise lines. A suite on a mainstream cruise line is completely different product from a suite on a premium or luxury line. The label is the same, but the reality varies enormously. What the suite experience generally gives you is real. Butler service, priority boarding, exclusive lounges, a different level of personal attention, and for the right person on the right sailing, it can be extraordinary. But is it worth the jump from $156 a day to $264 a day? That's a question only you can answer based on what matters most to you and which specific sailings you're doing. And the flexibility to make that decision sailing by sailing is one of the real advantages of ship hopping. So now the question becomes not which cruise line is best, but which one fits your lifestyle for that particular cruise leg on your ship hopping adventure. This is your complete picture in US dollars for 2 people across 4 months, 4 continents, 34 countries, and over 60 ports of call. Interior, $25,470 US, $106 per person per day. Oceanview, $29,070, $121 per day. Balcony, $37,360, $156 a day. Full suites, $63,340, $264 a day. Same exact trip, 4 different price points. Now, think about what you're currently spending. Rent or a mortgage, groceries, a car payment, insurance, utilities, entertainment. And at the end of all that, you're still at home. At as low as $106 US dollars a day per person, you're on 4 continents. Every meal is taken care of. You're entertained every night. You're waking up in a new country, sometimes a new continent, every few days. And here's what I think is the most important thing to take from all of this. Kirk and I never make a blanket decision about what tier we're going to travel at. We're looking at each sailing individually, each cruise line, each itinerary, what's included, what's not, what makes sense for that leg of the journey. The flexibility to make those decisions case by case, well, that's one of the great advantages of this lifestyle. There's no single right answer. There's just your answer. Now, one last thing I want to mention because I want to remind you, the ship hopping lifestyle does come with a small number of nights between sailings, and that means the occasional hotel. Over our entire 4-month journey, Kirk and I spent 2,329 Canadian dollars on hotels, and that covered 3 hotel nights in Buenos Aires, 1 night in Miami, and 2 nights in Rome. I'm not going to build that into the tier prices because you get to choose your own hotels, a budget option, a mid-range pick, or something special in a city that you've always wanted to explore. That choice is entirely yours, and honestly, it's one of the more fun parts of the planning process. So take the cruise number that feels right for you and add whatever hotel experience suits your style. Which tier are you on? Drop it in the comments. I genuinely would like to know. And if you want to see exactly how we find these sailings, string them together, and lock in the best prices, that video could be next. So please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so that you don't miss out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.